get it twisted. I'm really 10 toes to the pavement, getting to it, little baby. Yeah, I'm all about my business.
What it do, guys? Your boy King Say So, and I'm back with another reaction video. Today we got the legend of Grape Street. Before we get to the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you check out the description box for my other channels. Make sure you go down there and say free 03 Greedo or free 03. Make sure you hit that like button and watch the full video. Let's get to it. It's crazy. Boys got 20 years.
03 Greedo is one of the most influential West Coast rappers of the new generation. But just as he was getting the fame that he deserved, the rapper was sentenced to 20 years in prison for drug trafficking and possession of a firearm. Let's take a closer look at the wild story of 03 Greedo, the legend of Grape Street. Greedo was born in West Los Angeles, but moved to Gardena when he was just a kid. But right after they moved, his father was killed in a motorcycle accident. Greedo has also said that his dad was one of the very first Crips and used to run with Suki Williams, the founder of the gang.
My father was one of the first Crips, you know what I'm saying? My father ran with Tookie, so.
But despite his father's legacy, Greedo didn't get sucked into the street life right away. He was getting into trouble when he was younger and claims that he was addicted to cocaine at just 13 or 14 years old.
Damn.
He also said that he never wanted to be in the streets and always had bigger goals for himself than what he saw going on in his neighborhood.
I never wanted to be in the streets. I never wanted to be a street. I don't like that shit. That's not tight. It's not tight. I'm surviving.
But after getting his girlfriend pregnant at age 17, he struggled to get by and worked multiple low-wage jobs at places like Best Buy and Robinson's May.
When I got my baby mom pregnant, I dropped out of school, and then I started trapping, and then when I turned 18, I went and got a job at Mervin's and at Robinson's May, Macy's over there at the Galleria when it was Robinson's May. And I also worked at Fry's Electronics as a cashier manager, and at Best Buy, cashier manager.
He even tried selling his own beats to support his new family.
Hey, one thing that's smart about 03 Greedo that supposedly, I don't know if he really did, because I don't know him personally, but supposedly he recorded over 200 or over 2,000 or something. But basically he recorded enough music to last his whole jail sentence. Mind you, he's supposed to have 20 years. Even though I don't know, because I believe he's in. I think he's in the feds, and if he's in the feds, I think you do your full time. So if he's there, yeah, he gonna probably do that full time. But hopefully before that time come, the laws probably change and he might get out soon. Because even though you recorded a gang of music, it was smart that you did that. The only thing about that is like the music not gonna hit as it would have if he was out, because it's like it's like other platforms can share it, but it ain't gonna be the same as you being out, people seeing your energy, your vibe, and you telling people about the music. That's gonna be the only thing about it. Like the music it's still gonna do numbers, it's still gonna feed his kids and everything, put money on his books, but it ain't gonna do the numbers that it should have done and that it would have done if he was out. Man, free 03 though.
But it just wasn't enough to make ends meet, and he had to start selling drugs to feed his daughter, who was born just after he turned 18. He had also recently been kicked out of his mother's house for being disrespectful and was forced to stay with friends, his baby mama, and even spent a period of time being homeless. He eventually found a place to stay in the Jordan Downs housing projects on Grape Street in Watts, one of the roughest areas of the city. Jordan Downs is famous for being the headquarters of the Grape Street Crips, one of the most legendary Crip sets in all of LA. Their beef with the Bounty Hunter Bloods, who are also based in Watts, is one of the deadliest wars in West Coast gang history. Greedo ended up joining the Grape Street Crips after moving to Jordan Downs and spent the next few years hustling to provide for his family and creating a better life for himself. He started releasing mixtapes in 2010 under the name Greedy Giddy and was known for his crazy work ethic, dropping a total of 6 mixtapes between 2010 and 2012, including Bipolar 1 through 4, Money, Power, Regrets, and Everybody Weak.
You got a great work ethic,
have to be put on hold for a while after he would be forced to plead no contest to 2 burglary charges and 2 felony firearm charges. He would end up being sentenced to 2 years in state prison, where he would continue to work on his music. This gave him time to reflect and decide that he wanted to make rap his full-time career after being released from prison. But prior to being locked up, Greedo hadn't built much of a buzz with his music, so he had to start from zero again once he got out. This meant that he had to find another way to support himself and finance his career in the meantime, which forced him to return to selling drugs. On June 28, 2016, Greedo would get wrapped up in another legal situation that would eventually lead to the 20-year prison sentence he's currently serving. He and an accomplice were driving through the city of Amarillo, Texas, along I-40 when they were pulled over by police, who uncovered drugs and illegal guns in the trunk of the car. The Grape Street Crips have ties to a satellite Crip set in Memphis. Rappers like Block Boy JB and NLE Choppa are affiliated with the Memphis-based set of the Grape Street Crips, and they have a big presence in the city. So, the Crips in Los Angeles are known to do business with their allies in Memphis, including drug trafficking. On the day he was released, Greedo and his associate were driving through the Texas Panhandle on the way back to California after picking up some product in Memphis.
We
While they
look
were driving
different
through
with the
Texas,
fade. That's
they were pulled
crazy.
over by police who claimed that they could smell weed coming from their car. The cops searched the entire vehicle, where they eventually uncovered 4 pounds of methamphetamine in the trunk.
Damn.
In addition to the drugs, the police also found 2 pistols and ammunition, which had been reported stolen in California. Greedo was charged with unlicensed possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and possession of over 400 grams of a controlled substance. He spent about a week in jail, but was later released on bond and was allowed to return to California. Potentially facing decades in prison, Greedo decided to go twice as hard and make a name for himself in the music industry while he could still enjoy his freedom. He changed his rap name from Greedy Giddy to 03 Greedo because the set of the Crips he was part of were based on 103rd Street, which runs parallel to the Jordan Downs projects. By this point, he had already gotten the words Living Legend tattooed across his face, so music was pretty much the only legitimate route he could take to make a better life for himself. Luckily, around that time, his music first started to buzz after he popped off with the song Mafia Business, a track dedicated to one of his fallen homies,
That
Mafia
song
Ray.
went
Mafia
up.
Ray was an
No
older dude from the
kidding,
neighborhood
bruh.
who
That
was a big
song
brother
went up.
figure for Greedo growing up. When Greedo started making music, Mafia Ray was one of the first people to encourage him to keep grinding and even helped him build a bigger fan base by reposting his songs to his own social media. Mafia Ray was gunned down in a barbershop in 2016, and Greedo wrote the track Mafia Business in honor of his legacy. The video, which was filmed at the Jordan Downs projects, also features clips of Ray's gravesite and even his image made into a cardboard cutout. Mafia Business was one of the lead singles off the project Purple Summer, which she released
That
later
song
that
went
year.
up,
He
man.
followed up with 2 sequels to that project, Purple Summer 2, Sun Don't Shine, and Purple Summer 03, Purple Hearted Soldier. With each project, Greedo was doing bigger and bigger numbers, and he was starting to build a solid fan base who were attracted by his raspy melodic sound. But just because he was beginning to build a buzz didn't mean that he made it out of the streets entirely. Around that time, he would be shot in the leg and almost needed to have it amputated. In an interview with DJ Vlad, Greedo said that he told them not to cut it off and believes that they only suggested amputation because it was the cheaper option and he didn't have any insurance.
Saying Francis ain't right.
Well, they actually wanted to cut your leg off.
Man, I don't think they was just, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that if they really was going to cut it, I could say, no, don't cut it. They don't cut it. You feel me? I think that probably was a cheaper route or something, and they was just like bringing it, throwing it up there, see if we ran for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, yeah.
But before he could fully take his career to the next level, Greedo would be picked
That's-
up.
that's probably
Texas
true,
bounty
though. That's
hunters,
probably like, man,
and
we
brought
gonna
back
just
to
cut it off,
Amarillo,
man.
Where he would stand trial for
Forget
the
all that
drug and gun
surgery.
case from 2016. A photo of Greedo being arrested by authorities will become the cover art for the 3rd installment of his Purple Summer series, a project which would feature one of the rapper's biggest hits, Run For Your Life. During his trip back to Texas, Greedo was forced to sit in a van crammed full of other inmates for 6 days, where he wasn't even allowed to use the bathroom and had to relieve himself in water bottles. His leg was still
That's
recovering from when he
crazy.
was shot, so this trip was pretty painful in general. When he finally made it to Texas, the news was even worse. The court informed him that he would have to face trial for the gun and drug charges and was potentially looking at up to 300 years in prison if convicted. Texas doesn't play around when it comes to drugs, and Greedo was caught trafficking about $80,000 worth of methamphetamine. But he was allowed to post bail again and return to California to continue working on building his music
80
career.
bands, bro.
Knowing that he might not be out on the streets for long, Greedo said,
He was gonna make 80 bands, and y'all trying to give him 300 years, bro. Like some of these crimes, especially for drugs, are way like for that. That's what you need to be. We need to be putting that type of number on murder and manslaughter, like because how they taking it is drugs lead to all type of crazy stuff and then death. Somebody kills somebody, but y'all don't give them that. Y'all give them, manslaughter, 9 years, 12 years, something like that. Like, bro, y'all trying to give them 300 years for some drugs? That's crazy.
on a mission to record as much music as he possibly could. He recorded an entire mixtape on the night he got out of jail called First Night Out, which featured huge bangers like Rude and Zonin'. Fans were attracted to his unique style of hip-hop that combined street life with the melodic sounds of rock and emo. In 2017, he signed a deal with Todd Moskowitz at Alamo Records, a music industry veteran who managed Gucci Mane and also signed acts like Young Thug and Megan Thee Stallion. Greedo himself later announced that the deal came with a $1.7 million advance. Greedo dropped his debut project on the label, Wolf of Grape Street, in 2018, which featured appearances from PNB Rock, Young Tio from SOB RBE, and Catchy the Great and Ralphie the Plug from the Sting Team. but Greedo wouldn't take any
Catchy,
breaks after
man.
releasing his first major
Catchy.
label project and will be right back in the studio, prepared to record as much music as possible to be released if he was sent to prison. Greedo was prepared to live up to the words he had tatted across his face and to prove to the world he was a living legend. But before he'd get a chance to start releasing this deep back catalog of music, Greedo would be sentenced for the case in Texas and end up spending the next few years behind bars. In April 2018, Greedo pled guilty to the drug and gun possession charges and was given a 20-year sentence with the possibility of being released in 5 years on good behavior. Fans were shocked and heartbroken because Greedo hadn't been too vocal to the public about the charges he was facing. But after being sentenced, Greedo went on social media to apologize to his fans for letting them down. He tweeted, "Never thought I'd have to retire the year I blew up, but shit was fun. And sorry I let my fans down. At least we got some great music before I left, y'all. I wish I could have stayed with my family, but life isn't fair to some of us. Plenty of music will be released while I'm gone. Promise me you'll love me forever." He also let his fans know that he had some time to get his affairs in order before he'd be sent to prison to serve his sentence. He dropped one final project before turning himself in, which was called God Level and features guest appearances from Rich the Kid, Lil Uzi Vert, Young Bands, and more. Then, on July 18, 2018, Greedo turned himself into authorities and began his 20-year sentence, which he's been serving ever since. At first, Greedo was eligible for parole in 2020, but he was denied and will have to wait until 2021 for the next hearing. But the prison time has not slowed down his hustle, and the rapper has continued to feed the streets while behind bars.
Yeah,
He dropped a collaborative project with Kenny Beats in 2019 called Netflix and Deal, and another collaborative project with DJ Mustard called Still Summer in the Projects the same year. He also dropped an entire album with Ron Ron the producer in 2020 called Loaded Up Volume 1. There's no telling how much music Greedo still has in the vault, and it's possible that he could continue to drop music until he's eventually released.
He is,
Greedo has
I
told the
guarantee
public
that.
he believes his career as a rapper is what made him a target. Getting 2 decades for a non-violent drug crime seems pretty crazy, especially because he's shown evidence of wanting to change his life. But they don't play around when it comes to rappers, drugs, and illegal guns in Texas. So it seems like they hit him with the harshest sentence possible to set an example. In a recent No Jumper segment, Greedo called Adam 22 from prison to give an update. During that call, he revealed that he's working on an appeal, which may allow him to come home early. Apparently, the driver of the car he was with at the time hired a lawyer who was able to prove that the police had no probable cause to search the car, so it was considered an illegal search.
And when they finally found my crime partner who was on the run, they tried to give him 30, how I got 20 because he was the driver, but then his lawyer found that they really had no reason to pull us over, and it was an illegal search and shit.
Now, this lawyer...
That shit, you shouldn't have to do nothing. Look, this is your crime partner, bro. It don't matter if he was caught first or last. Once they caught him, y'all case goes together. This is your crime partner. That's how it should go. Once they found him, no crime. I mean, yeah, no crime, because as basically if they had no probable cause, I mean, all that, everything that they found, all of the evidence and whatever, you gotta let that go. I think the police might keep it. I think more like that. I think they keep they probably will keep everything, but you get released. So, and that's what you were in jail for. So they gotta bring you back to court. Your crime partner he was found not guilty because of the such and such. So we gotta let you go too because y'all was arrested together. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's crazy.
is helping Greedo file for an appeal to prove that the arrest wasn't legitimate in the first place. But due to COVID, the court system has been backed up.
Yeah.
Trying to get a special parole here, so I'm in between that and then I paid for my appeal, right before COVID, but then COVID hit and closed the courtrooms down, so we banking on the appeal or the special review of parole to come home.
You got
He
that.
was locked up.
He should get
Greedo
that.
even contracted COVID, but was not allowed to be released. Although it seems like he made a full recovery. The streets of LA are definitely missing Greedo. In the short time that he was free and getting recognition for his music, he influenced a whole scene of younger artists who have continued to keep his legacy alive. Hopefully, Greedo will be home sooner than expected.
Yeah, he's
Many of the
coming.
details of
He's
his
so
case
coming
do
home.
seem suspicious, and they clearly have some kind of bias against him because of how he looks and his criminal record.
Yeah, he for sure coming home because even if they try to hit him with parole violation, you still been in jail long enough to get time served. So, 03 coming home, man. For real. Make sure you like and subscribe. Catch the next video.
Look, don't get it twisted. I'm really 10 toes to the pavement, getting to it, little baby. Yeah, I'm all about my business.